Hey, come here, I gotta tell you something. Do you love pizza? Because I do. I do, like a lot. Like so much that I do not cut out my family's pizza movie night, even if I'm trying to actually lose weight. Because here's the bottom line is fat loss is going to come down to consistency. So in order to be consistent with something, you've got to make it sustainable. So for me, I love pizza so much, I'm going to still eat it even when I'm trying to lose weight because it allows me to stick with my plan longer. So the more enjoyable something is, the longer you're gonna be able to stick to it, the faster you're gonna see the results, and the more likely you are to actually reach the goal that you're trying to reach. So what I want you to do is actually just think about ways to actually make this sustainable. What are the foods that you love that you still want to be able to enjoy? And ultimately, the way to eat to lose weight the fastest is gonna come down to 3 rules. I don't know why I'm doing 3 like this, but normally I do 3 like this. But my daughter tells me I have to do it like this. Or like this? I can't remember. Anyway, so it comes down to 3 simple things. Now the first thing that I don't want you to do is I don't want you to cut out all the foods that you love. Secondly, I want you to include things that you love, but ultimately also be including whole foods. So like when you're including both of those 2 groups of foods, things that you love, including whole foods, you've got a recipe for weight loss that's going to be easy to stick with. So get rid of this mentality of cutting things out. I just want you to start including things. And then the third thing that it comes down to is actually looking at the 3 big qualities of food that I want to show you in just a second here that are going to help you feel full and be able to be in a caloric deficit. Now this applies regardless of whether or not you're tracking calories or not. So we're gonna get into that. And if you start doing this right, you are going to see progress over time. And the cool thing is that we can lose fat relatively quickly, especially in comparison to how long it takes to build muscle. But ideally, I'd love you to be doing both at the same time. But okay, between you and me, we do still have to be honest with each other, because when you're trying to lose weight, I mean, you can't just eat however much you want of these types of foods, the foods that you love, because those are the foods that they're gonna be hyper palatable, and therefore they're typically gonna be high calorie as well, which is going to lead you to overeating. And ultimately, in order to lose weight, we have to be under consuming how much our body needs just to function, so that it's forced to go grab fat stores. So ultimately we have to sacrifice a little bit, but I'm a busy dad of 4 and I don't wanna be mentally having to go through that stress. So I found some amazing ways to be able to do this and still enjoy what you love. But what I would tell you is that there's way better ways to do this than just the whole mentality of eat less and move more. But regardless, again, of whether or not you're tracking calories or you're not tracking calories, this really comes down to these 3 specific food qualities that I mentioned. So the first one that you want to consider is protein. Like studies have shown over and over again, the most satiating food, the food that's gonna make you feel the most full is protein. That's what you're gonna need for muscle building as well. So whatever food you're eating, I want you to think about that. So think about things like ground beef. These are yeah, it's frozen right now, but I better put it back in the freezer quick, otherwise it's gonna thaw. But things like ground beef, we do ground pork, which is awesome, especially if you're doing like tacos or like a taco salad. I want you to think about things like chicken, eggs. Those are gonna be high protein foods. Really, when you make that the priority and start with that in your meal, it's gonna allow you to feel full way faster, and it's gonna actually prevent you from eating beyond what you actually might need. Because when we're eating the hyper palatable foods, it kind of messes with your hunger hormones, and you might feel really hungry when you're actually satisfied. There's 2 hormones in particular called leptin and ghrelin, and those can kind of get out of whack when all that we're eating is processed hyperpalatable food. Now, the other thing you want to think about too is like protein shakes. So, okay, I'm now a pretty big fan now of Paleo Valley. This is the Paleo Valley chocolate's bone broth. A lot of the advice about it is super easy to digest. Highly recommend that one. This is like my staple, Arbonne. They do chocolate, vanilla, there's a coffee protein. Anyways, these are all low calorie. Here's another one, bone broth protein. This is super frothy if you blend it. So you've got now high protein on top of the fact that it's more volume of food. So those are great foods to include because they're gonna help satiate you because it's high protein. So next, what you wanna think about is water. So first off, just drinking enough water. I want you to be drinking water throughout the day. Just always have water with you. I've got, wherever it is. You guys are funny. All right, I'll try to film. I've got my giant water bottle. I just keep this thing with me all the time. And I start the day with water. But now, on top of the fact of drinking water, I want you to think about foods that actually have a lot of water. When you eat foods that have more water, it's gonna help you to feel even more satiated. So, things like oranges. Oranges are truly, in my opinion, the bomb. If you can eat oranges, I know some people are allergic to them. My mom in particular is allergic to oranges, but oranges are awesome. They're taste amazing, and they're filled with the next thing we're gonna talk about, and water, and they're gonna leave you feeling nice and full. Or, watermelon. I mean, watermelon's amazing. The amount of calories you're gonna consume for a ton of watermelon is amazing. It's gonna help you feel full. Other great options are things like peaches. Peaches are awesome, nectarines, think berries, which leads me into the next thing, is the third quality that you need to think about is fiber. So all of these things have fiber. Oranges for sure, any kind of fruits with skins, you're gonna have the fiber in them. But in addition, there's also things like a squash. Now I know you don't think of squash as something awesome to eat, but if you make squash the right way, my wife has made like squash cubes with cinnamon. They taste incredible. And if you get a good squash, it's gonna taste sweet. It almost tastes like dessert when you add cinnamon into it. So things like squash, things like, I haven't opened it up yet, but broccoli. My wife makes amazing like charbroiled broccoli. It's not charbroiled, I don't know what the word is. We stick it in the oven and she basically bakes it with a little bit of olive oil on it. I'm telling you, it's the only way to eat broccoli. If you haven't tried it, drop a comment down below. I'll tell you exactly how to make it. So these types of foods, I mean, things like string beans, think carrots, any vegetable, spinach. Like I brought a whole bunch of different ideas here. These things are gonna have extra fiber. Now they're not the only things that you need to be eating, and I'm gonna tell you how to incorporate those foods to allow you to enjoy things like pizza. So every Saturday night, my family does a family movie night and we do a pizza. We home make the pizza, not always, sometimes we'll get it out, but I love the way that I make pizza, frankly. When I eat pizza, I don't want one slice. I want like 3, sometimes 4 slices. So the way that I actually do this is if you enjoy fasting, fasting's a great option that day to actually just delay your meal. You don't even need to like fast until like 1, 2, 3 o'clock, because for some people it just doesn't make them feel good. For me, I don't mind it. Saturday mornings, I'm not working, I'm not active, I'm usually sitting at a desk. And so I'll just delay my first meal, until I actually feel it. Drink water, have some black coffee, have some seltzer water, different things like that. That's gonna give you a ton of caloric flexibility for the end of the day. Now, if you don't wanna fast, you don't have to worry about that. What I would do is just focus on a high protein and maybe slight moderate fat meal. So think of things like scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs is a great option. I actually sometimes I'll do whole eggs because the cholesterol in the eggs has actually been shown in studies to be even more optimal for muscle growth than just eating the egg whites. So I'll do the whole eggs, but then I'll add egg whites. Like I'll just get like the carton of egg whites and I'll add those to it, because then I'm gonna be even higher protein, higher volume of food, and it's gonna fill you up. Now the thing that I would do is make sure you're hydrating first thing in the morning. Drink like a whole water bottle. In the morning, I'll drink like an entire one of these almost. Start with a ton of water, eat your meal. After your meal, like 15 minutes after meal or whatever, it doesn't need to be that specific. Just drink more water, have something to drink with you. That's gonna make a big difference. And then get busy, get doing something. When you're sitting around, you're gonna be thinking about food a lot. But if you're active doing stuff, we've all got, if you're a family guy like me, you're gonna have a ton of stuff going on. The weekend is always crazy full. And then focus on your meals around fiber, water, and protein. I'm telling you, if you focus on those 3 things, it's gonna give you a ton of caloric flexibility at the end of the day. If you're tracking, this is really easy to do because you know what you need to do. But even if you're not tracking, you don't have to stress about it. Focus on these things, and then it's gonna give you that caloric flexibility, even though you don't even realize it. Now, when it comes to the meal, okay, now, you're looking forward to this meal, looking forward to the pizza. I get excited about it every night that we do it. So one thing I'll do first is we make sure to just pair a nice filling veggie with whatever thing that we're having. So have a salad, I'm telling you, the broccoli, do the broccoli, or you can just eat a bunch of carrots. Sometimes I'll do a lot of carrots or peppers or things like that. Green beans are another great one, because if you fill up on a bunch of veggies, my wife's alarm is going off. Because if you fill up on a bunch of veggies, that's gonna help bring in some fiber and water to already make you feel satiated, and then dive into the food that you want and just enjoy it. Enjoy each bite. I don't want you to just be like shoving in because it tastes so good. Like take a bite and enjoy it. Enjoy the time with your family, because that is really what this is about. It's about connecting with your family. It's about being able to enjoy an incredibly delicious meal. And then I always love pairing it with some sort of fizzy drink. So I'll do some type of seltzer water. No, Polar's not a sponsor. We just happen to have them. So you're welcome, Polar. Do some sort of seltzer water. I love Arbonne Fizz Sticks if you want to check those out. Oh, and the protein stuff, those protein options, if you want to see those, links are in the description down below. It does help support the channel if you end up getting it. But there's so many options out there. So grab a seltzer water. I love Arbonne Fizz Sticks, are amazing. LMNT, I always recommend. LMNT at the end of the day will take away any craving that you have. So I cannot recommend them enough. They're a great company. I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just love them and I appreciate them so much. But now the cool thing about fat loss is that beyond even just what you're eating, there's other hacks that you can use that can get you there way faster. And these are the ones that I wish I had known about sooner. So as always, go get strong, but first just go give your kids a big hug, because frankly, I think family matters way more than this. And I'll see you over there on the next video.